Thank you, everyone, and I especially want to share my heart with the last panelists and all the panelists before. This has been an inspirational day, and we have work and vision to fulfill. But I wanted, when California Women's Agenda formed after Beijing, there were two great leaders who co-chaired that, and one was Marilyn Fowler. She's here with us today. And the other one was Eileen Hernandez. There you go. And she can't be with us today because she's moved to Southern California, and she can't be involved anymore. But so I've been in touch with her a lot in this period, and so I have an address for her. And for those of you who knew her or didn't, but want to be aware of her contribution, I'd like to share that because she really has made a contribution in all the ways that all of our panelists here today have asked us to do, which is we're trying to liberate people, not just some people. And that is a human struggle that we've had, and our relationship to the earth means that that's where we're going to be grounded, and we need to find our heart and soul to move in that direction. And Eileen, in her own life, really led, tasked herself, tasked us, gave us a future to have meaning. When we experienced our own sorrows and lost our way, and also helped others because she knew it would take all of us, and more than her own lifetime. Eileen was born in 1926 in Brooklyn. Her parents were from Jamaica, and she had a very strong mother. And the first day that she records that she learned about difference that really was harmful was when they moved into a certain part of Brooklyn. I'm not from Brooklyn, so I don't know exactly what street it was on or anything. And the school said, we don't want your daughter here, basically. And her mother said, you will teach my daughter. We live here. We aren't going anywhere. And then the community, of course, started working on getting the whole family out and all that. And that's when she said, I have a spirit with my mother. She's right. She was in elementary school. So that's where her role model came from. Her parents were working class, and they were involved in unions. And so that's how she learned about how her personal struggle and taking a stand and empowerment could be collectivized. So that's how she learned. And to get involved in not only neighborhood struggles and family struggles, but social struggles. And that's a part of what Eileen's leadership and contribution was. Because when we came back from Beijing, we were asking ourselves, as some of my sisters asked today, well, what are we going to do now? We've just been to this largest UN conference in human history, right? In the mud and everywhere. But now we want to do something, and there's no one to tell us what it is. We're going to have to figure this out. And Eileen was a part of that, as was Marilyn. And we formed the California Women's Agenda that was built on the Women's Intercultural Network. So the Women's Intercultural Network and California Women's Agenda was a part of that. And we struggled over with Eileen, and we had many discussions about, is the California Women's Agenda an organization, or what is it? Yes, it isn't. No, it isn't, blah, blah, blah. You know the stories, right? Those of you who've been to 100 of these types of meetings and groups. And so we decided, and Marilyn and Eileen led us on this, that we were a network, not an organization, because we wanted to keep the interlinks, the linking of what would emerge, like climate change and drought, keep the spirit in, cultural, the arts, and move us as issues emerged, to keep us in electoral politics and to keep us in our families and everywhere, and include such emerging issues as gender and sexual identity. Look at all the changes that have come about. You can't be ready for that every year. You have to be open and have a heart for it. And Eileen really represented that. In 1962, wait, was it 62? Yeah, 62, she was appointed to the new Civil Rights Commission. Is it up there? No. Okay, I saw you looking up there. I'm sorry. So, and so she worked as, and started working off of her union work. And then she discovered when she was on this commission that really the equality or the equity was more about men, and the women were being left out. And of course, she was the only woman on the commission. So that's how she got involved in essentially women's politics, and I'll just say it shortly, that out of that process, a group of women in a hotel one night, and Betty Friedan was there, her book had just come out, you know, all this, and they said, okay, well, we have to form a women's organization, so they formed the National Organization of Women, for those of you who don't know, and she became the second and only She became the second president of the National Organization for Women and the only woman who ever became president of the National Organization of Women. And there was a big fight about it because she was a woman of color. Did I say woman of color? Oh, I thought I did. Okay, sorry. Thank you. So she is the only, to this day, woman of color who became the national president of the National Organization of Women. And she fought for this. And then when the next term, her competitor, who was white, basically, Eileen said, you have to have a team, even if as a competitor, of other women of color that will be in your administration. And they refused, okay? Truth to power. And this is still a struggle. And so if you wonder why there's fragmentation as the new movements grow around race, immigration amongst women, then Eileen had the seed right there. She's not the only one. And so I'm saying this because if Eileen were here today, she'd be so inspired. She'd be really so inspired, and really thank all of you for being here, and all of you who put this together. Thank you very much, because it was inspiring, and because we will have a tape, she will be really happy, because she will get to see it and maybe thank you in person. And I just wanted to say that, pardon? Oh, Mike. And if you want to see a couple of interviews of her, NPR has a video thing that they do. It's like a selfie, but they're not quite. It's called Makers. And if you just write in makers.com, and there'll be 4 short interviews of her. They're like 8 minutes, 4 minutes. And she speaks to this, all of this. And she will be a great person and role model. She was a peer to Bella Abzug, where we started our morning. And it's something that we still need to aspire to have women at that level. So thank you.